So the horrible tragedy yesterday in Vegas, from when I'm recording this, has changed some minds of some people about gun control. This is what it took. I'll take it. It's good.
Yeah.
So his name is Caleb Keeter. He's the guitarist for the Josh Abbott band. They were playing at that. That was the band.
Yeah, yeah.
And, he tweeted this out, this long thing. I'll read it to you. Ready? He says, I've been a proponent of the Second Amendment my entire life. Until the events of last night, I cannot express how wrong I was. We actually have members of our crew in CHL licenses and legal firearms on the bus. They were useless. We couldn't touch them for fear police might think that we were part of the massacre and shoot us. So that's exactly the problem when people go, oh, if everybody had a gun. No, because when the cops show up, they see everybody with guns. They don't know who the good guys are, who the bad guys are.
Mm-hmm.
A small group or one man laid waste to a city with dedicated, fearless police officers desperately trying to help because of access to an insane amount of firepower. Enough is enough. Access to an insane amount of firepower.
Yeah.
So this isn't about you get to have a gun for your protection. These are people with, I don't know how many bullets they can fit in those clips. 50 bullets in a clip, 100 bullets in a clip. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't need it to hunt a deer.
Right.
You don't need that kind of ammunition.
And you don't need that to protect yourself from a robber.
No.
I got to shoot him 50 times in a second. He says enough is enough. These rounds were powerful enough that my crew guys, just standing in a close proximity of a victim shot by this coward, received shrapnel wounds. That's how powerful those rounds were.
There's so many of them.
We need gun control right now. My biggest regret is that I stubbornly didn't realize it until my brothers on the road and myself were threatened by it. We are unbelievably fortunate to not be among the number of victims killed or seriously wounded. So again, classic Republican does not understand a problem until it affects him personally. Classic gun owner, classic Second Amendment guy, classic right-wing guy, classic. I didn't get it. I didn't understand health care until I lost my job and I was sick. I didn't get it. Now you get it? We actually did the stories about the guy who was against Obamacare and then he got sick. And
yeah. Well, at least some people are capable of a change of heart and evolving. I mean, there's already been people that have been like, well, this is the cost of liberty yet again. I mean, so
good on Caleb, I guess. You know, it took something he had to see a massacre right in front of his face. He had to be in that. People, like, no one's ever told you that before, that thing that you just said. That's what blows me away. No one's ever said that to you before. You know, in a situation where shooting, if you grab your gun, when the cops show up, they're going to shoot you. That never dawned on him before. No one ever explained that. You never read that in an article about. You never looked into the counter arguments against the Second Amendment. You never looked into that. No, because that's what the first thing people say. Anyway, so that's the guy's in a horrible situation. I don't want to beat up on the guy. He was there. He's probably traumatized for life. But this happened because of people like him supporting this stupid idea that having restrictions on guns and bullets is somehow a restriction on your freedom. It's a restriction on your freedom to shoot me. How much freedom do you have now when you have to go to a sporting event? They have to go through your purse and go through it. Where's that freedom? That's gone. And how about the freedom of peace of mind, not knowing? So that's not freedom.
How about the freedom when you get on a plane?
Right.
I mean,
the freedom for me is freedom from the fear of being shot in the head at a concert by a maniac with a high-powered gun with 50 to 100 bullets in a magazine. That's the freedom that I would like. I'd like freedom from that fear.
Or at a movie theater.
Right.
Or at a school.
Anywhere. Or at a mall. There he is. I was wrong, stupid, and selfish for thinking otherwise. All right, well.
Yeah, I do applaud the guy. I
guess.
After the traumatic experience, he does have that change of heart, and he's being vocal about it.
Yes, he's using his position right now to be able to communicate that this change would be what America needs.
So so literally for the country music people to come around to a sensible position on gun restrictions, on gun control, it literally took the biggest massacre in the history of our country to happen at a country music event.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, I get, oh, that's right. One guy with a high-powered weapon and thousands of bullets. And and then it doesn't matter how many guns we have. Yeah, because you can't start shooting the guy. The guy's up in the hotel. You're going to start shooting at a hotel? You're going to start shooting at a hotel and kill a lot more people? You can't. You know, anybody, there's two types of people who think that the Constitution allows you to own guns like that. Mm-hmm. The ignorant and the purposely ignorant. You know it says well-regulated militia. You know it says that in the Second Amendment, and you know that's the part you don't quote. And if you don't know that, I'm telling you that now. That's what they said in the Constitution, a well-regulated militia.
Mm-hmm. And the Constitution's supposed to be an evolving document. That's why we have amendments in the first place.
That's right. It's part of it.
So, you know.
The Second Amendment is called an amendment.
Yeah, and they wrote it at a time where technology was much different. They probably weren't anticipating a lot of this stuff. So, yeah, it's time to revisit some stuff. And you're not even really interpreting the amendment properly anyway.
So now what I look forward to is idiots like Kid Rock, who, by the way, I like some of his music, Kid Rock. He is an idiot. He is an idiot. He's an idiot on purpose.
Oh, yeah.
Kid Rock. So now I want to see him go out and go, no, F you, and Ted Nugent. Guns are great. I want to see those guys do that. And then we'll play that video of the guy shooting a machine gun.
Oh, yeah. I used to live in Nashville, Tennessee, and the NRA convention would come through once a year, and it is just the extremity of that organization and the amount of power they have is mind-blowing. I think as long as they continue to exist as an organization, we will never have common sense weapons policy in this country because they've got too many politicians by the balls.
Well, here's what I don't understand. It's like, why don't the responsible gun owners of America, which I would think that most people who own guns would like to think of themselves as being responsible. Mm-hmm. They say something like 80-90% of Americans wanted some kind of gun restriction legislation after Sandy Hook, and we didn't get it. So I'm guessing a lot of those people that actually are card-carrying members of the NRA would like some gun regulation. So why don't you quit that organization? If you're in the NRA and you want some kind of gun regulation, quit the NRA. That's because that's who's standing in the way. So you have to take the power away from the NRA.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So quit it. Quit the NRA.
Yeah, and there's other organizations. There actually are organizations that are against the NRA that do still we want to have.
We're pro-gun, but we're not for the NRA.
Yeah, we're responsible firearm owners. We're against what the NRA is doing.
The NRA used to be about responsible gun ownership. It used to be about they would teach you how to use a gun and how to be responsible, and then it just became into this marketing arm of the gun manufacturers, and they're just the most immoral sons of bitches I've ever seen in my life. They just make killing machines. They don't care. They don't care. They killed kids. They killed 5-year-olds. They don't care. They'll twist the arm of their legislators that are in their pocket even harder.
Oh yeah, yeah, and they do. Even minutes after Sandy Hook happened.
Yeah, and believe me, they're doing the same thing now. Now's not the time. We'll see. We'll see who's saying that. We'll see Kid Rock if he's saying that, and Ted Nugent. Oh, I love Ted Nugent. The good thing about Ted Nugent, he's already got a pre-shit pair of jeans for. Okay, he doesn't have to shit his pants when something like this happens. He already has a pre-shitted pair of pants that he used to get out of the war. Right? Do you know that about Ted Nugent? It's always the biggest cowards that turn into the biggest bootlickers, the biggest stolen valor. Ted Nugent literally shits himself so he doesn't get drafted. And then he hangs out with soldiers the rest of his life because he's such a pussy. Just because you can play guitar doesn't mean you're not a coward 100%, Ted Nugent, which he is. Portland, Oregon, the Jimmy Dore Show is coming to the Alberta Rose Theater November 12th. And we're going to Burbank, California, November 6th. And the Hollywood Improv on October 16th. There's a link for tickets right down there. Go to jimmydoorecomedy.com for all links for all shows.